South Shields is a coastal town at the mouth of the River Tyne, England, about 4.84 miles downstream from Newcastle upon Tyne. Historically in County Durham, the town has a population of 82,854, the third largest in Tyneside after Newcastle and Gateshead. It is part of the Metropolitan Borough of South Tyneside, which includes the towns of Jarrow and Hebburn. South Shields is represented in Parliament by Labour MP Emma Lewell-Buck. South Shields comprises 8 wards from the Metropolitan Borough of South Tyneside. The combined population of these wards was 67,956 in 2011. History. The first evidence of a settlement within what is now the town of South Shields dates from prehistoric times. Stone Age arrowheads and an Iron Age roundhouse have been discovered on the site of a Roman fort. The Romans built a fort here around AD 160 and expanded it around AD 208 to help supply their soldiers along Hadrian's Wall. Divisions living at the fort included Tigris bargemen, infantry from Iberia and Gaul, and Syrian archers and spearmen. The fort was abandoned as the Roman Empire declined in the 4th century AD. Many ruins still exist today and some structures have been rebuilt as part of a modern museum and popular tourist attraction. There is evidence that the site was used in the early post-Roman period as a British settlement. It is believed it became a royal residence of King Oswald of Northumbria. Records show that his son Oswin was born within Ceuta, by which name the fort is thought to be known after the Romans left. Furthermore, Bede records Oswin giving a parcel of land to St. Hilda for the foundation of a monastery here in c. 647. The present-day Church of St. Hilda, by the marketplace, is said to stand on the monastic site. In the 9th century, Scandinavian peoples made Viking raids on monasteries and settlements all along the coast, and later conquered the Anglian kingdoms of Northumbria, Mercia and East Anglia, who hailed from Angelnen in Denmark. It is said in local folklore that a Viking ship was wrecked at Herdsands in South Shields in its attempts to disembark at a cove nearby. Other Viking ships were uncovered in South Shields Danemark Centre and nearby Jarrow. The current town was founded in 1245 and developed as a fishing port. The name South Shields developed from the skeel or shield, which was a small dwelling used by fishermen. Salt panning expanded as an industry in the 15th century, polluting the air and surrounding land. In 1864, a Tyne commissioner's dredger brought up a 9-pounder breech-loading cannon. More cannonballs have been found in the sands beside the law. These artifacts belong to the English Civil War. In 1644, during the English Civil War, Parliament's Scottish Covenanter allies, in a battle, seized the town and its royalist fortification. The fortification was close to the site of the original Roman fort. They also seized the town of Newburn. These raids were done to aid their ongoing siege of the heavily fortified Newcastle upon Tyne and in a bid to control the River Tyne, and the north, and the Shield siege helped cause battalions to manoeuvre south to York. This may have also led to a brief winter skirmish on the outskirts of Bolden, though the topography is not favourable for a battle. In the 19th century, coal mining, alkaline production and glass-making led to a boom in the town. The population increased from 12,000 in 1801 to 75,000 by the 1860s, bolstered by economic migration from Ireland, Scotland and other parts of England. These industries played a fundamental part in creating wealth both regionally and nationally. In 1832, with the Great Reform Act, South Shields and Gateshead were each given their own Member of Parliament and became boroughs, resulting in taxes being paid to the government instead of the bishops of Durham. However, the rapid growth in population brought on by the expansion of industry made sanitation a problem, as evident by cholera outbreaks and the building of the now-listed Cleadon Water Tower to combat the problem. In the 1850s the Tyne Improvement Commission began to develop the river, dredging it to make it deeper and building the large, impressive north and south piers to help prevent silt build-up within the channel. Shipbuilding, previously a monopoly of the freemen of Newcastle, became another prominent industry in the town, with John Redhead and Sons shipyard the largest. During World War I, German Zeppelin airships bombed South Shields in 1915. Later during World War II, the German Luftwaffe repeatedly attacked the town and caused massive damage to industry and killed many residents. Particularly a bomb shelter in the marketplace of South Shields where the deceased were commemorated in a cobblestone of the British flag. Gradually throughout the 20th century, coal and shipbuilding industries ceased, due to competitive pressures from more cost-effective sources of energy and more efficient shipbuilding elsewhere in Eastern Europe and in Southeast Asia. In the 21st century, the local economy primarily includes port-related, ship repair and offshore industries, manufacturing, retail, the public sector and the ever-increasing role of tourism. This is illustrated by the new multi-million Haven Centre, Dune Centre and seaside improvements. Geography. South Shields is situated in a peninsular setting, where the River Tyne meets the North Sea. It has 6 miles of coastline and 3 miles of river frontage, dominated by the massive north and south piers at the mouth of the Tyne. These are best viewed from the Law Top, which also houses 2 replicas of cannon captured from the Russians during the Crimean War. The town slopes gently from Cleadon Hills down to the river. Cleadon Hills are made conspicuous by the Victorian Cleadon Water Tower and Pumping Station and a now derelict windmill, both of which are listed and can be seen from many miles away and also out at sea. South Shields boasts extensive beaches, sand dunes and coves, as well as dramatic magnesian limestone cliffs with grassy areas above known as the Leas, which cover 3 miles of the coastline and are a National Trust protected area. Marsden Bay, with its famous Marsden Rock and historic Grotto public house and restaurants set in the cliffs, is home to one of the largest seabird colonies in Britain. One of the most historic parts of the town is the quaint and beautiful Westoe village, which consists of a quiet street of first-grade and second-grade Georgian and Victorian houses, many of which had been built by business leaders from the coal and shipping industries in the town. Given its beautiful setting, parks and trees, this street was often the setting for a number of books by the novelist Catherine Cookson. Westoe village was once a separate village about a mile from South Shields, but urban sprawl has now consumed it, along with the village of Harton to the south on the main route towards Cleadon and Sunderland. Demography. Before 1820, South Shields was a predominantly sparse hamlet and village-based rural economy with some small-scale shipbuilding, glass-making and salt processing along the riverside. Beyond 1820 and into the Industrial Revolution, South Shields expanded into an urban settlement built around shipbuilding and coal mining. Migration came from up the River Tyne, with other migrants from rural County Durham, Northumberland, Scotland and Ireland. The majority of the people living in South Shields are descendants of those who migrated and settled in the area during the Industrial Revolution in order to work in expanding coal mines and shipyards. Towards the end of the 19th century, with the British Navy needing seamen, Yemeni British sailors settled in the town. This resulted in the first roots of the Yemeni British community in the town. Yemeni community South Shields has been home to a Yemeni British community since the 1890s. The main reason for the Yemeni arrival was the supply of seamen, such as engine room firemen, to British merchant vessels. Similar communities were founded in Hull, Liverpool and Cardiff. In 1909, the first Arab seamen's boarding house opened in the Holborn Riverside district of the town. At the time of the First World War there was a shortage of crews due to the demands of the fighting and many Yemenis were recruited to serve on British ships at the port of Aden, then under British protection. At the end of the war, the Yemeni population of South Shields had swelled to well over 3,000. Shields lost one of the largest proportions of merchant navy sailors. Approximately 1 in 4 of these men was of Yemeni background. Disputes over jobs led to race riots, also called the Arab riots, in 1919 and 1930. However, over time, attitudes to Yemenis in the town were softened and there was no significant recurrence of this violence. After World War II, the Yemeni population declined, partly due to migrations to other industrial areas such as Birmingham, Liverpool and Sheffield. However, the main reason for the reduction in numbers was the end of the shipping industry and the need for sailors as coal-burning ships decreased in numbers. Today, the Yemeni population of South Shields numbers around 1,000. Many Yemeni sailors married local women and became integrated with the wider community, resulting with a migrant population less distinct than in other mixed communities across the UK. The Yemeni are the first settled Muslim community in Britain and have been used to justify multiculturalism. There is a mosque at Laygate, including the Yemeni school, which was visited by American boxer Muhammad Ali in 1977. He had his marriage blessed at the Al-Aqsa Mosque, the first purpose-built in the UK. This story is covered in a documentary film, The King of South Shields film website. Throughout April and early May 2008, the Baltic Arts Centre in Gateshead chronicled the Yemeni community of South Shields, including interviews with the last remaining survivors of the first Yemeni generation. The exhibition depicted the Yemeni story as an example of early successful multicultural integration in Britain, as well as showcasing the high-profile 1977 visit by Muhammad Ali. In 2005 the Customs House commissioned author Peter Mortimer to write a play on the subject of the 1930 Yemeni riot. The resultant play Riot was staged at the venue in 2005 and 2008. In 2008, South Shields resident and filmmaker Tina Garavi unveiled plans for a plaque to mark Ali's visit. In 2008, a critically acclaimed exhibition about the South Shields Yemeni community was held entitled The Last of the Dictionary Men Euro Stories from South Shields Euro Unregistered Trademark Yemeni Sailors, was held at the Baltic Centre for Contemporary Art, Gateshead. In 2009, the detective series George Gently, based on the novels by Alan Hunter, portrayed the Yemeni integration in a 1960s setting. Economy. The last shipbuilder, John Redhead and Sons, closed in 1984 and the last pit, Westoe Colliery, in 1993. Today, the town relies largely on service industries, whilst many residents commute to work in nearby Newcastle, Gateshead, North Tyneside and Sunderland. Despite a skilled local workforce, for many years South Tyneside had the highest unemployment rate in mainland Britain, although between December 2002 and December 2008 unemployment in South Shields fell by 17.8%, and that of South Tyneside by 17.7%, the best performance in the North East region over that time period. In January 2011, The Guardian reported the unemployment rate at 6.5%. In October 2011 The Guardian reported the unemployment rate at 7.5%. The Port of Tyne is one of the UK's most important and is further developing its freight and passenger activities. In 2007, it imported 2 million tonnes of coal. Manufacturing and ship repair engineering are other significant sectors. South Shields benefits from significant public and private sector investment. More recently this has included primarily the town centre, riverside and foreshore areas, given the decline of once traditional heavy industries with the town's growing importance as a major commercial centre and tourist destination. Landmarks and tourism. As well as being the oldest and largest town in South Tyneside, South Shields is also one of the region's most popular seaside resorts. The area markets itself as Catherine Cookson Country, which attracts many visitors. Further improvements and developments to the seafront are planned. The town and region include, the reconstructed Roman fort and excavations at Arbua, which form part of the Hadrian's Wall World Heritage Site, the town's museum and art gallery, including a permanent exhibition dedicated to the life and times of Catherine Cookson, the home to the Barber headquarters, warehouse and factory, the Customs House Theatre and Arts venue and a historic mill dam riverside, traditional, continental and farmers markets and high street shopping, seafront complete with promenade, parks, fairground and amusement arcades, crazy golf, skate complex, quasar laser, miniature steam railway and boating lake and live entertainment, coastal scenery, beaches and dunes at Little Haven, Sandhaven and Marsden Bay, the National Trust-owned Souter Lighthouse and the Lees Cliff Tops, St Hilda's Church, reputedly built on the site of Hilda's own 7th-century chapel, Haven Point, the combined Jubilee Clock Tower and Wiltwave Memorial, which stands on Pier Parade alongside Tyne, Britain's second oldest preserved lifeboat. An extensive network of cycle paths and trails, and a newly refurbished multi-purpose family-friendly complex at the seafront, including a bowling alley, a soft play area, a fully licensed bar, Italian restaurant, an arcade called Dunes Adventure Island, and a renowned amphitheatre that has been hailed by John Anderson as the birthplace of prog rock. South Shields is also home of the oldest provincial newspaper in the UK, the Shields Gazette. Lighthouses and pier work on the North and South Tyne piers was begun in 1854 for the protection of shipping entering and leaving the river. It was originally intended that the North Pier and Lighthouse would mirror their South Shields counterparts, but a series of breaches and collapses meant that the North Pier was completed much later and to a different design. The South Pier was finished in 1895 and its lighthouse was operational that same year. The pier is 5,150 feet long. Accessible from South Shields seafront, it is accessible to the public except in bad weather. The South Lighthouse displays an occulting sector light with white, red and green sectors. The green sector is used to indicate safe waters near the coast to the north of Teignmouth, while red indicates an area with numerous wrecks to the east and south of the lighthouse. There is a third lighthouse just upstream of the pier, on the Herd Groyne. The groyne shows an occulting light which marks a safe entrance course between the piers, showing white to a vessel approaching from seaward on the correct course, green to a vessel off course to the north, and red to one off course to the south. Built by Newcastle upon Tyne Trinity House in 1882, it consists of an upper hexagonal part, including the lantern, of wood and corrugated iron construction, sitting on 12 cylindrical steel legs. The whole structure is painted red and stands 49 feet in height. The Herd Groyne Lighthouse was refurbished and repainted in 2014. Town halls A prominent landmark is the Edwardian Town Hall, built 1905 to 1910, a sumptuous building, the most convincing expression in the county of Edwardian prosperity. The architect was E. Fetch of London. Ornamentation includes several references to the town's nautical heritage, Britannia, and other sculpted figures in the pediment above the front entrance, a figure of Mercury atop a globe on the dome of the council chamber, fountains and nymph lamp holders in the forecourt alongside a statue of Queen Victoria. The 145-foot clock tower contains a Potts chiming clock and 5 bells, and is topped by a weather vane in the shape of a galleon. The Old Town Hall, a handsome square building of 1768, provides the centerpiece of the marketplace and closes the vista along King Street. The ground floor is open with arches on each side. The enclosed first floor has pitched roof, topped by a wooden bell turret. Originally built and used by the Dean and Chapter of Durham, it was sold by them to the Town Corporation in 1855. There is a good choice of restaurants, cafes, public houses and nightlife, as well as hotels, guest houses and caravan parks. South Shields plays host to an annual free summer festival, and each autumn the town is the seaside finish to the world-famous Great North Run. South Shields is also home to Coleman's, established in 1926, which is a multi-award-winning seafood restaurant and takeaway. South Shields has also become the home of the South Tyneside Magic Festival, an annual event created by Martin Duffy, and supported by the local council, the Custom House Theatre, the local magic shop Magic Box, and numerous local and national independent investors. The festival was started in 2004, incorporates magic in the community, magicians perform in schools, libraries and aged persons' homes during the week, as well as public gala shows at the Customs House. The culmination of the week is the Magic Convention, 3 days of lectures and shows by the world's best magicians. Education. South Shields is home to South Tyneside College, one of the 2 leading maritime training centres in the UK, with facilities including a marine safety training centre and a simulated ship's bridge for the training of deck officers. The college was also home to the only planetarium in the region, and to an observatory. And in its time was a popular visitor attraction for local schools and visitors in general. The observatory was used for 20 years, and in 2008 it was deemed redundant to the future curriculum needs of the college. The college provides a wide range of other flexible vocational and training courses. Local schooling is generally regarded as being very good, which is reflected in continuing improvements to school results and independent inspections. In 2007, Brinkburn Comprehensive and King George V Comprehensive merged, forming South Shields Community School. The new school was built at a cost of £19 million on the King George V school site and was opened in September 2011. Regional identity. People born in South Shields are considered to be Geordies, a term commonly associated with all residents of Tyneside. A less commonly used colloquial term is sand dancer. It is presumed to originate from the town's beach and history. Notable people. A number of notable people have been associated with South Shields. They include Perry Edwards and Jade Thirlwall of record-setting girl group Little Mix, Jo May Seldery, Lulu James, Ridley Scott, Tony Scott, William Woldhave, Eric Idle, John N. Gray, Frank Williams, Phil Brown, Eleanor Brent Dyer, Catherine Cookson, Flora Robson, Claire Otter, Jack Brimmer, Dorothy, Ginger, Craig Conway, Steve First, Sarah Milliken, Tom Curry, former Newcastle United player and Munich air disaster victim, Robert Olley, artist and sculptor. Creator of the painting The Westoe Nettie, Professor David Phillips, John Simpson Kirkpatrick, John Eriksson. Martin Waghorn, professional footballer currently playing for Rangers Football Club, Graham Hodgson, artist and illustrator. Winner of Britain's Got Artists 2012. Chris Ramsey, Sam Stalra-Meixer, philosopher, Dave Wilson, England Prop Rugby Union, Joseph Craig, Paralympic swimmer, Gold 2012, John Woodvin, Michael Alger. Sport. Football. South Shields FC is the town's main football team. Originally formed during the first decade of the 20th century, the team played in the Football League during the 1920s. In 2014, the club played in the semi-professional Northern League Division 2. Rugby. South Shields is the home of two rugby clubs, South Shields FC and Westoe FC. South Shields FC have been playing at Grosvenor Road, South Tyneside College since they were formed in 1956 and welcome new players all year round. For more information, visit the club's website, http://www.pitcherocoutshieldSrfc/ Westoe FC, formed in 1875, still play at their original ground, Wood Terrace. In 2005 they had an intermediate cup run and got to Twickenham but were beaten by Morley RFC. From Yorkshire. Politics. South Shields is a safe Labour Party parliamentary seat, the only constituency in existence since the Great Reform Act of 1832 never to have elected a Conservative MP. It is currently held by Emma Lewell-Buck, who won the seat in a by-election held on May 3, 2013, which had been triggered by the retirement from politics of the previous incumbent David Miliband, who had served as Foreign Secretary in the government of Gordon Brown. The local authority is also controlled by Labour. The town has a local independent political party, the Progressive Party. This broadly centre-right party was formed in the 1950s to address hostility towards the Conservative Party. The Progressives have no representation beyond South Shields. Having controlled the old county borough of South Shields Council until 1974, they still hold several seats on the borough council and have experienced a resurgence in recent years, sitting in alliance with independent members of the council. Public transport. South Shields is bounded by the A19 trunk road to the west and situated close to the Tyne Tunnel at Jarrow. The town is well connected to other areas of Tyne and Wear and to the strategic road network. The A194M motorway provides a direct link between the borough and the A1/1M. The Tyne and Wear Metro Light Rail system was introduced in the 1980s and replaced British Rail services over the same route. The Metro network serves South Tyneside, Gateshead, Newcastle, North Tyneside, Sunderland and Newcastle Airport. The platform at South Shields Metro station is situated on a bridge directly above King Street, the town's main shopping area. When Metro services were introduced, the railway line at the former High Shields LNER station at Leygate was rerouted eastwards to the then new Chichester Metro and bus interchange. The former South Shields LNER station was also closed and the Victorian buildings survived as a secondary entrance to the Metro station until they were demolished in 1998. There are other metro stations at Tyne Dock and Brockley Winds, while a new station at Symonside opened in early 2008. Long-term plans by Nexus to reopen the former Sunderland to South Shields line between Tyne Dock, Brockley Winds and East Boldon would create a direct rail service between South Shields and Sunderland, without the need for passengers to change trains at Pell and Gateshead. There is a frequent pedestrian ferry service to North Shields on the opposite bank of the Tyne. The Shields ferry carries tens of thousands of commuters and pleasure trippers each year. There has been a cross-river ferry service between the two towns since 1377. The Port of Tyne headquarters and international freight terminal are located at Tyne Dock in South Shields. The port has a freight rail connection. Local bus routes are operated by Stagecoach Northeast and Go Northeast, which are planned to integrate with metro services. There is a national express coach service direct to London. The town's extensive network of strategic footpaths and cycle routes includes the C2C Cycle Route and National Cycle Route 1. Climate in this area has mild differences between highs and lows, and there is adequate rainfall year-round. The car paragraph PPEN climate classification subtype for this climate is CFB. Gallery. See also, South Shields, North Shields, trolley buses in South Shields. References. External links, South Tyneside Council and Community website, Local Council website, South Shields Roman Fort, English heritage information about Roman Fort, 2, History website of South Shields, 3, Arbloa information website, 4, St Hilda's Parish website, South Shields Sound Dancers, Local information website, Curly's Corner Shop, the blog. Local commentary, photos of South Shields, South Shields Daily Photo. A South Shields or North of England picture every day, comments invited. Boarding House, a 2009 short documentary film about the Yemeni community in South Shields, by Peter Fryer and David Campbell.